What is going on, guys? It's Tyler here with the Coelum Farmstead, and this evening on this rainy day, in case you can't hear, I'm just going to be spending it in the greenhouse with my peppers, weeding and getting them ready for their first ever layer of mulch. So I encourage you guys, come along, hang out, and let's have some conversation while I pull out a bunch of weeds. Borage is a really pretty flower, and it's also edible. The leaves are edible if you can get past their furry texture, and the flowers are edible as well. So when they come into bloom, I'll show you guys how to eat those, but they are really good. They taste like a fresh cucumber. Ooh. See, look at that. See how tiny this plant was? And look how long its root was. That's insane. So one of the reasons why I have been watering so heavily the past few days on this bed without any mulch on it is because I wanted to germinate as many seeds as I could before I put a barrier down, so that I could go through and do exactly what I'm doing. And it's a little tedious getting all of these. You see, I'm about a third of the way done with the bed, and you know, I'm not getting all of it, but I'm getting a majority of it so that it's going to be less weeds trying to fight through the mulch layer when it is put down. And I'm really focusing on getting all of this baby grass, because this one blade of grass has this huge root structure already. And so we want to make sure we get rid of that, because that's really going to be our competitor with the mulch. Everything else is pretty much going to be able to be killed off. But this is also a nice little snack for the chickens too. So I've been asked a lot about why I planted peppers in this raised bed inside my greenhouse, and a lot of it is because, if you didn't know, peppers are supposed to be perennials. They're supposed to be able to come back every year, but most growing zones, at least myself in zone 8A, get too cold for them to actually overwinter. And so what I'm going to end up doing is, in this greenhouse, I'm going to actually be building a plastic cover to go over the top of this bed as well on a hinge, so that I can actually raise the growing zone of this bed by 2 to 3 zones. So this will actually be a growing zone of about 10 to 11, which will be amazing for peppers. And I'll be showing you guys as these get bigger come the end of the growing season. When we're getting ready to go into the colder season, we will be pruning them back to their center stalk and getting them ready to overwinter and putting their energy down into their root stock so that they can overwinter themselves. Now, if you were in a warmer growing zone or something that doesn't have that cold of a winter, or had a greenhouse, you could also be doing this as well. And every year they come back, their production gets better and better and better, and supposedly in their third year is their best production. So we will see This is year 1 of getting them established, so we'll see if we can get to year 3 with these guys. So this year I'm only growing a few different pepper varieties, and I'm actually growing them with some perennial greens down the end of the bed here as well. Just some tree collards that can overwinter in the super colds and don't get super bitter when they go to seed. So I'm pretty excited for those. But I'm also growing banana peppers through here, jalapenos next to those, which are jalapenos without the heat. Next to that, I'm growing a lilac bell pepper, which are purple bell peppers, super sweet, really good for stuffing. Next to those, I'm growing mini red bell peppers, so they get the size of a quarter. And they're also super sweet. You can almost eat them just like a cherry tomato. So I'm really excited. I grew those ones last year along with the lilac bell peppers. And then next to those, I have a couple of my borage plants just to help invite pollinators in when the sides of the greenhouse are up and the door is open. And it also separates my sweet peppers from my hot peppers, because right next to my borage I have my apocalypse scorpion peppers, and right now they are in the run for the world's hottest pepper of 2021. So I'm super excited to be growing these peppers so that I can use them in my lacto fermentation process to make my hot sauce. And if you haven't seen that process, I do have a video on that out. I'll leave a link in the corner to go check that out if you'd like. But that is really good and it is super flavorful. And you can moderate your heat by the amount of hot peppers that you put in. You don't have to use super hot peppers. You could use jalapenos if you want to, and it's still gonna be really, really delicious. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish weeding the last part of this bed here, and then we're gonna go grab some mulch to cover this whole bed. Alright guys, that is it for today. We got our pepper bed weeded, mulched, and I'm just about ready to water it in. Just gotta fill up my watering can. So, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on this rainy evening. I will see you guys in the next one.